robot dogs, bioharmonic beds, and an OLED TV that rolls up into its base. From the coolest gadgets at CES to the latest apps that will make your life easier, or at least more interesting, it's all here on the most irreverent tech show in the world. You may even discover what a Bandersnatch is. Nope, it's not a robotic dildo. That's a completely different story. Confused? You won't be after this inaugural episode of the Bad Boys of Tech.
Ready for your hot fix of tech news with the latest apps, sexy software, and groovy gadgets. You've got it with the Bad Boys of Tech. Take it away, gentlemen.
Welcome to the Bad Boys of Tech. We're not bad, really. We're just drawn that way. It's the podcast for tech nerds, geeks, dweebs, dorks, and those of you that might be technologically impaired. I'm Joel Comm, New York Times best-selling author and eternal 12-year-old, and along with me, Mr. Travis Wright.
Yes, Mr. Joel Comm, it is a pleasure to be here with us. We are having a party. This is great, right? Bad Boys of Tech, episode 1. I am a marketing technologist. I am a average selling author, not New York Times, but I wrote a book called Digital Sense. And some of you may know Mr. Joel Comm and I from the Bad Crypto podcast.
You might not. This might be the first time you've heard us, and you might be tuning out already. But you might be sticking around because there's another bad boy in the house across the pond. No, not the one in your backyard. The big pond, the Atlantic Ocean. It is the one, the only Stuart Rogers. Hey, Stuart.
Well, hey, Joel. Hey, Travis. It's awesome to be here. I mean, sometimes I am across the pond. I'm a journalist. I write for tech publications like VentureBeat, the Grit Daily, and many others. I'm also not an author yet, but I have stood outside the New York Times building. And, I say I'm occasionally across the pond. I'm also a digital nomad. I get to travel around all over the world. I move from country to country once every 5 days on average. So sometimes I'm over your side, and I know that the TSA is on high alert whenever that happens.
Why is that, Stuart? I'm just curious.
Well, because I'm a bad boy of tech, Joel. That's why.
You're so bad. So why are we doing this show, guys? What's the deal here?
I think this is a convergence, right? So, Joel and I, we do Bad Crypto, but then also Stuart and I, spent a couple of years doing the VentureBeat VB Engage podcast. And we were always talking about ramping that back up. And then we've had some pretty good success with Bad Crypto. And, we chatted, we said, hey, what about joining all of us and having a Bad Boys of Tech threesome every week?
So if Bad Crypto and VB Engage got together and they had a one night stand, this podcast is what would come out as a result. Let's all give a little bit of our backgrounds in tech, just briefly. I've actually been a tech nerd my whole life. I went to my first CES when I was working for a video store in Northbrook, Illinois, junior in high school in 1981, and this is the era of the Atari 2600 and the VHS tape. And my employer asked if I wanted to go to the Consumer Electronics Show at McCormick Place in Chicago. And it was like Disneyland, for tech geeks. And so I've been to many CES shows, and I love gadgets. I love playing with all the latest toys. And that's why I'm here. Why are you here, Travis?
I got a question about that real quick, though. So is that like an additional ancillary CES? Just, let's have one in the Chicago area, too?
That was before. It was, in Vegas.
Before they moved to Vegas. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's seriously old school.
Yeah.
Nice. They just recently had their 50. I guess this year was the 51st CES. Very cool.
Yeah, but not always in Vegas.
But not always in Vegas. Very cool. Yeah, so I'm Travis Wright. As mentioned earlier, I'm an author. I am also the co-founder of CCP Digital, which is an ad agency in the Kansas City area. We got clients all over. And as a result of the Bad Crypto podcast that Joel and I host, we've been working with a lot of different blockchain projects. We work with a lot of marketing technology projects as well, different kinds of clients. I am a marketing technologist, as is Mr. Stuart Rogers. And you know what? I started out with tech, way back in the day. I think, I got on the not quite as old as Mr. Joel Comm of getting on with the, those computers. But I think my first computer experience was with the Apple IIe in like second grade or something, third grade, playing lemonade stand and all that stuff. And then in my junior year, I was in the computer class, and I was, we were learning basic language, and my computer teacher just sucked. And I was like, you know what? I'm getting out of here at the semester. I'm going to come back to technology later on. This is way too slow, and I have no patience for this. And that was like 1990. And then he went to the Army as a Russian linguist in the U.S. Army, and then went to the University of Kansas. And then I got on super fast internet, and I was like, oh my gosh, this internet stuff is amazing. And within the first 36 hours of being online, I had learned HTML, built my first website, set it up, and was on the races. And so since then, I've done SEO, paid search, mobile marketing, social media marketing. I was the global digital strategist for Semantic for a couple of years. And I love the technology.
Yeah. I mean, how long is this episode going to be, Travis?
But not as much as you see.
I didn't know we were doing our whole bio, Travis. I mean, give me 10 minutes and I'll jump back in.
You said just say some things, and so I did. I didn't know when to stop.
You said words and things and stuff. I bet Stuart knows when to stop, though. Stuart, tell us about your background in tech.
So I started out at the tender age of 6. I was programming computers. I actually had my first 2 video games published when I was 12. I then ran a number of software companies. In the background, I was also running a video game news website that gave all of its money to charity, and we had approximately 50 young journalists come through the program and learn how to become journalists and go on to get paid video game journalist jobs. I got an opportunity to move from the wonderful world of tech into full-time journalism, joined VentureBeat, not just as a journalist, but also an analyst running BB Insights. We analyzed marketing technology. Although Travis likes to label me as a marketing technologist, I have moved on from that world. And these days, I have gone back to artificial intelligence. I say back to, because I was developing AI applications when I was 12 or 13 years old. So that's a long time ago. I'm 148 years old, ladies and gentlemen. And I am involved in augmented reality and blockchain technologies and all of the emerging tech. That is my field of joy these days. And also these days, I don't just write for VentureBeat. I write for many other publications and lots of other companies as well. I also get to stand up on stage and talk all about how technology is affecting our daily lives. And that's my background in tech. Hopefully it was a lot quicker than Travis.
And you're still an analyst, right?
Well, Travis, if you want to pronounce it that way in order to get a cheap laugh out of the audience, I feel that's fair game. I mean,
that's good. Hey,
you're a cunning linguist, but I won't do that.
Oh, my. And we are the bad boys, and I think that's the perfect segue to our first story. So let's get into the news.
So our first piece of news kind of ties in there with that bad joke. So this robotic dildo was banned from CES, and apparently it won an award. The CES, organizers, they gave her an award for this personal massager, the OSE personal dildo, and then they took it away from her and prompted some serious sexism claims. And I heard that you actually went by the booth, Mr. Joel Comm.
Yeah, so I was at the Steve Leon's Showstoppers event, which is a separate event that just takes place concurrently at CES, and he brings in media from all over the world, and he has about 140 booths that are sponsors. And while these guys from OSE, I think it's pronounced OSE with an accent aigu on it for Frenchy French, they had a booth there, and the founder, Laura Haddock, was telling me about this story that their OSE personal massager was selected as a 2019 Innovation Award honoree in the robotics and drone category by the CES people, the Consumer Technology Association, otherwise known as the CTA. So somebody, they looked at this and they gave it an award, and then they took the award back because it said it was immoral, obscene, indecent, profane, and not keeping with the CTA's image. So think about that. Somebody had to look at this and say, this is innovative. We're going to give it an award. And then they took it back.
Yeah, and that's, it's completely wrong. I mean, I understand that, I understand for sexism claims. I mean, if this had been a piece of, if this had been a toy, an adult toy that was for men, I have absolutely no doubt that they would have just let it, ride, if you pardon the pun. And, I feel that. I mean, I heard a lot of commentary about this because this actually blew up all over the internet. I was in Berlin when I saw this news, and I really feel for them. I think CTA. I mean, they need to get with the program. I mean, there's lots of amazing people out there in this industry who are doing really awesome stuff. Laura Haddock, for example, she's doing amazing things. Stephanie Alice is doing amazing things in this industry. They all are, and they all deserve the recognition that they should be getting. And for the CTA to come forward and say, here's your award, and then to say, oh, actually, we've had second thoughts. I think that's wrong. I think it's absolutely wrong. I fully believe that they should, do something good for their PR and basically say, hey, we've thought about this. We were wrong. Here's your award back.
Yeah, I got to say, they totally fucked that dildo company.
Damn.
No, but what's so weird about this was like in 2016, there was a company, Oh My Bod. They won the digital health and fitness product category in 2016. And then last year, there was literally a sex doll for men that was launched on the CES floor, and a VR porn company that exhibits there. But I don't think they won awards, but there was already precedent with the Oh My Bod, the Kegel exerciser thing. And so that won. And so it's kind of strange that they would totally pull the award like that. It's definitely sexist. And I think I give it a thumbs down.
And I think this company that makes food is Meatist. They are making the Impossible Burger, and they're making it so real that even a vegetarian who wrote this article for CNET is grossed out by it.
It's too cowish.
Impossible Burger, I love it. When I go to the States, there's quite a lot of restaurants now that have the Impossible Burger. It used to originally be the Umami chain. I'd go to the one in Santa Monica. I really like it. It does taste like meat. It does have the same texture. It even slightly bleeds. I mean, I'm guessing that they use something like beetroot or whatever. So when you cut it open, there's something, a little bit of something slightly red that comes out. Yeah, the Impossible Burger 2 apparently takes it much, much further, way further. And it really does completely feel like and taste like meat. I just wonder if it's gone a little bit too far. I mean, this particular person, the chap, old woman that wrote that article, says that they were, basically sick, and maybe that's a little bit too far. I mean, what is it with actually trying to make something that is basically meat but is made out of vegetable products anyway? Why not just make something that tastes really nice out of vegetable products and out of plant-based food? Why does it have to be like a burger?
I agree. Just eat your veggies. What are we trying to do? What's the conformity here? I really want it to look like I'm eating a burger. I want to fit in with the rest of everybody else that's having a burger. I don't get it.
Well, people want to, they're conscious of the environment and conscious of, how bad that, cows are for the earth when you're just feeding them all this stuff, and then all the gases that they emit and all the horror that goes through whenever they go through the slaughterhouse. But I mean, I still love beef. I love a hamburger now and again. So I think this is a really cool thing. And I tell you what, I've been to that same one, the Umami in Santa Monica. And if you did not know that it was an Impossible Burger and you just ordered a burger and they brought it to you, you would not know that it's not beef. That's serious. And I've not tried the second version of this, but I thought it was pretty good. Actually, what I didn't like their ketchup. They had some weird spicy stuff in the ketchup that was kind of gross. That's what I took away from them. Like, ugh, can I have some regular ketchup? But I thought it was delicious. And you know what? If it's better for the environment and it takes away some of the violence and the whole slaughtering process of animals, I'm all for it.
Now, I'll be really impressed when they make, a vegetable out of meat.
Yes, the impossible broccoli.
I mean, look, let's take this just to its logical conclusion for a moment. Let's say that we stop eating cows altogether. Cows are not really at the top of the food chain, let's be fair. What used to they have? Let's say we stop slaughtering cows for meat. Let's say we stop having them, basically getting milk from a cow. Let's say we stop that as well. Then what we're going to end up with is just a whole load of cows. And, they're obviously going to breed. Do we spay and neuter them like cats? Are they going to be the new cats? Will cows be the new cats? Will the streets of Istanbul be full of cows because we can't kill them anymore? What is going to happen?
Can we miniaturize them? Can we have small cows?
Can we have tiny cows? Can we bring back that famous Reddit question? Can we say, is it better to fight 100 duck-sized cows or one cow-sized duck?
I don't know, guys. I think there's some that are objecting to this whole discussion. All right, maybe you're right. Maybe we move on.
That one particularly sounded like it was objecting. I do not know what that cow was doing when it was recorded, but I'm not sure I want to know.
I want to talk about the most badass thing that I saw at CES. The thing that made me go, what? And it was an LG product. Of course, LG, a big electronics manufacturer of television sets, and their display, when you walk into the main area in the central hall, was what I could call like a tidal wave of televisions, these OLED TVs that were curvy. And of course, they were all stitched together to show one large picture. But once you go through the little arch that they had created with these TVs, and you walk in, there were these a row of 5 they're tables. They're about 18 inches high and about 5 foot wide, I want to say. And out of these tables, TVs rolled up, literally rolled out of the table straight up to a 60-inch display. It's their new OLED roll-up television, and you could roll it down when you're not watching it. It was pretty mind-blowing.
I mean, I'm just gonna be a little bit mildly controversial here. We've been talking about flexible displays and all this kind of thing for a while. They were at last year's CES. They've been at various trade shows. I fully appreciate what Lucky Gold Star have done, but let's be completely frank, not massively innovative, right? I mean, we've had flexible displays for a while. It was certainly a super impressive display, and I loved the way they put it all together, and the video they had playing on it, and it was really super impressive. But it's not innovative, right? I mean, we've had this stuff around for a while.
Well, we had it in like a small, what was it, a 13-inch display. This is like a full big screen television that isn't just a display. It's a piece of furniture for your room. And, I think you could have this thing down. You could have artwork behind it. And, you could actually enjoy your room without this big black screen just cluttering it up. And then when you're ready to watch it, pull it out.
I mean, I think I probably have a different view to most people because I don't actually have a house. So there's no point in me getting one of these in any case. I'm quite happy with the 13-inch one. I can stick that in my suitcase.
You got no feng shui, Stuart Rogers.
I don't need feng shui. Yeah. I don't have a house.
You got no feng, you got no shui.
And the feng shui is not
when
innovative.
I walk down the street, I'm always having a bit of a shui, but I don't need the feng.
It's going to be expensive, right? I mean, this is going to be pricey.
Yeah.
One thing I look at this is like, if this thing is down, I know my kids are going to like sit a drink there or like a book, or there's going to, and then I'm trying to like raise up the TV, and then all of a sudden there's a bunch of crap sitting on the base, right? Like, could you guys get your crap off my base so I can lift up the TV?
I don't disagree that it might not be the most practical setup. I just thought it was super cool. And Stuart is right. The display they had set up there to present this was, larger than life. You hear angels singing as these TVs are rising up from their base. And people were pretty amazed by it.
Yeah. What about that 219-inch wall TV by Samsung? Did you get a chance to see that out there?
I actually didn't see it at the show. I was in the Samsung booth. I saw tons of stuff. It was huge, just a massive booth. But I didn't see the wall, and I don't know how I missed it because it is. I mean, think about that. That is an 18-foot diagonal measurement on this television set.
Does that impress you, Mr. Stuart Rogers?
Look, when I think of all these things, and I think of things like, foldable, rollable, throw it up in the air and watch it fall downable, all of these different types of displays, I'm still thinking about the fact that there isn't any real innovation here. I saw somebody with a tablet that folds over. I mean, I think they wanted to call it a smartphone, but my goodness, that thing was huge. There's no way that was a smartphone. It looked really chunky and horrible, and I don't think anybody is ever going to buy one because it was awful. You got these wafer thin displays that look beautiful in the house. I'm certain of it, but where's the innovation? Where is that? And, just in general, like, why? I mean, this is the problem with tech in general. Coming up with solutions to problems that don't exist. We already have perfectly good serviceable televisions that cost almost nothing. And you can buy them for a couple of $100, put them in the corner of a room and watch things in amazing quality. Why do we need a $60,000 display just because it's wafer thin?
I don't disagree. We were doing perfectly well with the horse and buggy. And why did we need a motorized car? I mean, the horse and buggy got us from here to there. What do you need an engine for? Come on,
dude. You've taken that analogy way too far. Taking that analogy way too far. That's not what I'm saying.
I know, and I don't completely disagree. Here's my biggest concern with technology, as much as I love the gadgets, is it connecting us better as human beings? Is it making us more human? Is it helping us to accomplish more, to get more done so that we have the ability to connect with others in ways that we haven't? And I'm not sure that it's working us towards that, but, we're all willingly going along with it here in the Matrix because the gear is fun.
For sure. Now, we do have all of these show notes, all of these articles and photos of different stuff that was going on at CES at our website. It is badboysoftech.com. Also, I believe we have badboysof.tech. So either one of those. We don't have this is the very first one, so it should be easy to find this piece of content on the site there. Wouldn't you say, Mr.
I would say it'd be really easy. If you can't find it, then you don't have an internet connection or you don't know how to operate a web browser.
And can I just ask, ladies and gentlemen, please go ahead and type in badboysoftech.com. We called this podcast Bad Boys of Tech, and then it took 15 people, 6 people years to actually come up with that URL. So please honor the amount of work that they put into that and go to that URL for us. It's badboysoftech.com.
He's not wrong about that. It did take a long, long time. Have you guys seen the new Netflix Black Mirror episode, Bandersnatch?
I have not, because of the aforementioned having no house and enjoying life instead of watching TV programs.
Wow. Well, that wasn't condescending at all. Just,
Yeah. You're so fun. You're fun to have at parties.
You're just kidding.
I am fun to have at parties. I'm not fun to stick in front of a screen. That's not fun. Parties, they're fun. Watching a screen, not fun.
That's true. That is true. I agree.
Black Mirror is, an award-winning series that is very dystopian in nature, and it looks at.
Actually, Mr. Joel Com, CTA just took away their award
because of the name Bandersnatch.
Yeah, they didn't like Snatch. It was not good. They don't approve.
I have no reply to that. So I'll just keep going as though you never said anything. So this is what's really innovative about this show, if you haven't watched it yet, is this is a Black Mirror episode that is interactive. It's a first for television where you actually have choices that you make throughout the episode about what the character is going to do. It's reminiscent of the old books that were the choose your own adventure books, where you would come to a certain part of the page and it says you do this, go to page 83. But if you do this, go to page 194. And so the outcome of this story changes based upon how the reader of the book would make different choices. And so they've applied this to this episode, and it's pretty darn clever. I mean, it was the first time I felt like this is really interactive television. It's not just passive watching.
Yeah. Now, one thing I noticed about it is they have their story. The plot is there. The whole thing is there. And if you choose one of the other ones, then they'll just go through that little narrative and then get you right back to it and make you do it over again. Right. Because it wants you to, there's certain things it wants you to do, and eventually you get to them. Right. I thought it would be cool if it actually like, oh, you did this and you did that. Oh, the show's over. And the show, it only took you 15 minutes to watch it. This was actually, you had to watch it. It was an hour and 30 minutes. And you basically go through, even whichever ones you chose, it would go back and recycle because it wanted you to go down a certain path. So it wasn't quite like the choose your own adventure books where, you could read, maybe it's 3 pages and that story's over. This one takes you back and makes you kind of go over it again. But I did think it was interesting, and you can't watch it on a regular TV. You have to watch it on a smartphone or a tablet or your computer, because you have to be able to interact with some sort of input device to tell it which one you want it to do. So it does not work on your TV. If you try to watch it on your TV, it'll basically show you like a 2-minute trailer, and then you got to go watch it on another device.
Yeah, I made that mistake.
What's really interesting is that ChooseCo, which is the company that did the Choose Your Own Adventure books, is actually now suing Netflix over Bandersnatch. I don't really see what how they're even managing to do that. ChooseCo was actually founded in 2003, well before they even existed. Well before they even existed. You had people like Steve Jackson and Ian Livingston, who had the Fighting Fantasy books, which were also choose your own adventure, and you roll the dice, and the way the dice came out, you went to a particular page and all that kind of stuff. I don't see them suing anybody over this. ChooseCo, I think they're on really thin ground there, but probably, because the United States is the United States, some judge somewhere will go, oh yes, I think this is completely reasonable, and give them millions of dollars. But it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's not even the same thing. It's a book versus, the technology that Netflix have put in place to allow this to happen, which I think is smart. I think it's really cool. I may watch it at some point. It's the kind of thing that if it is available on download, and you'll have to tell me if it is for Netflix, I could watch it on a flight somewhere.
Well, it's not available for download because of the complexity of it. You would need to watch it, with a connection, but it will work on your phone. But here's the legal basis for this. There is actually a federally registered trademark for the phrase "choose your own adventure" that ChooseCo owns. And in the beginning of Bandersnatch, the character actually refers to the book Bandersnatch, which is a fictional book in the story, as a choose your own adventure book. So ChooseCo is saying Netflix is using its trademark phrase, which without a license, they're asking for $25 million or Netflix's profits from the show, whichever is greater.
Wow.
This is interesting to me because I remember those. I have a bunch of those, and it was originally set up by Bantam Books. And Bantam, I think I have probably 30 of those original Choose Your Own Adventure books in various, like a box in my garage. And I love those books. And they said that they sold about 250 million of these from 1978 to 1998. And then they stopped publication. And then in 2003, I guess these two people created ChooseCo to release those books. And then did they buy Bantam? Or did they get all the rights to all of those? Because now they can sue. Is it just one of those plays where they did that so they could go out and sue people who did that, like building apps?
I don't know, but I'm no lawyer, but once something becomes so prevalent that the words enter the lexicon of the language, such as, for example, we have to Google things with a lowercase g, because we've all accepted that it is such an important thing to be able to say, I am going to Google this, that it is entered the lexicon. And when you have something that is so popular it enters the lexicon, a large amount of the time, that right to have that as a copyrighted phrase goes away because it's just part of natural language. So I don't know, because I'm not a lawyer, but I suspect that if there's a sensible judge in the room, they'll probably throw this out.
Well, it's not.
Maybe they'll tell him to shut your Bandersnatch. Get out of here.
It's not all the tech news that's fin to talk about, but it's what we got for you. And now we're going to talk about some of the cool apps that we've discovered.
So here's a great article that, people are using Facebook. We've been using it, and there's actually all these studies that come out about how it's messing with our mental health, right? Where all the different feedback loops that are built in there, and we're all the dopamine. And so it says, hey, maybe instead of spending all your time on Facebook and Instagram, check out some other apps. And, one of the apps that I really like, because I travel quite a bit as well, and I love to listen to audiobooks. So aside from Audible, Blinkist is an app. Have you guys ever played with Blinkist?
I love Blinkist. I use it all the time. Blinkist is awesome, and it gives me the ability to read in air quotes, and I don't believe it. I'm actually doing the air quotes. Nobody can see me doing this.
Imagine.
But I know, it's crazy. It allows me to read books en masse very quickly. I'm able to get all of the concepts and ideas that are in the book in 15 minutes, and I don't even have to read them, because most of them have got audiobook versions. I can just listen to them. It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, I use that to find new books that I actually want to read or listen to the whole book. I'm like, oh, that was awesome. I need to dive more deep into that.
It's Cliff Notes for audiobooks, essentially. Yeah, and it's pretty brilliant. It's unfortunate that it's paid. It's $12 a month, $70 a year. But if you want to, get a lot of the bullet points from content, the summaries quickly, it's a really good way to go about it.
Great. Cliff Notes is going to sue us now. Thanks
Cliff,
a lot.
Everybody named Cliff is going to sue us. Here's one that I've downloaded before and haven't used, but for those who want to learn a foreign language, Duolingo is used by 300 million people. Apparently, it's a great way to learn a lot of different foreign languages.
I actually like the app Memrise, Memrise. The gamification of that is really great, because I've been studying and learning Russian, and I really love that app. I liked it more than Duolingo. Duolingo is pretty fun, but yeah, good stuff. Well, what do you use, Mr. Stuart Rogers, for your language learning?
Yeah, I use both Memrise and Duolingo, but I found another one which I really like, which is worth everybody checking out. It's called Drops.
Drops, I've used that too. That's fun. You get to drop acid while you're learning the language. It's really handy.
The Bad Boys of Tech podcast
that's not how
does not condone the taking of illicit substances. Well, I don't anyway, and you guys can.
So is that. There's some other ones on there as well. You can check that out there. And a Flipboard. You know what? Flipboard is a great one. We use that all the time for Bad Crypto. badco.in/flip, where we basically put in all the news around blockchain and crypto there. That's a great place to really curate news and find new news that's relevant to your interests. So there's
a great article here on socialmediaexaminer.com for those of you that use Instagram. There's a list of 5 apps here that can help embellish your Instagram photos and videos in a way that makes your fake social media appearance even faker.
It is. It's so handy.
As if it could get any fake. I mean, let's be honest.
There is some pretty cool technology, though, here. Have you looked at the images of what some of these do?
Yeah, I have. I think they're pretty cool. I mean, I think most social media profiles are pretty fake at the moment, aren't they? I mean, I saw something amazing recently. I'm sure everybody has seen this. Certainly anybody that's on Reddit or Imgur or any of those sites will have seen this probably a few times over the years. But an image of somebody hanging with one arm on an amazing rock face, and it looks like they're thousands and thousands of feet up in the air. And then there's a picture of somebody who's taking the picture of the person who who's doing that, and it turns out that it looks that way, but their feet are actually on the ground because the rock goes around in a curve.
Wait, are you saying social media isn't real, Stuart? No, I can't handle that.
Am I saying that we all have perfectly edited lives? Am I? I don't know.
That is so true. I'm a big fan of the moment right after the selfie, right? It's like, I wish that we could have more of those because everybody's all, yay! And then right after that, everyone's like, back to normal and hating everyone.
Actually, pictures of people that are editing their selfie, right? So you take the picture, you've got the smile, and then now you're looking at your phone. So we need a name for that moment where somebody captures an image of you, deciding, do I like this? Do I not like this? Am I disgusted with myself? Am I going to take 500 more photos because I don't have the right duck lips? What am I going to do?
So I think the shot after the selfie, I think we call that the truthie. And the the one that's the picture of somebody editing their selfie, I think we call that a shoppy.
Nice.
Or an Eddie.
Coining phrases. Well, regardless, there's a list of 5 apps here. One of them that I've actually used is by the makers of GoPro. It's called Splice, and it's a free app. So if you are taking vertical videos and photos, you can add them together. You can add music, you can crop, you can trim, put titles in there, animations. It's basically a more sophisticated iMovie to help you make videos, on the fly, and then you can put them on Instagram. Or you can download them and use them wherever else you want. There's just so many choices right now that it's overwhelming.
I love that app, in fact. And what's cool about it is like if you're out traveling and, you basically can pop that app open and it will grab, it'll say, oh, should I create a video from your last 24 hours? And I'm like, oh yeah, boom. And it'll make a video. And most of the time, you don't have to do very little editing on those, and that video looks pretty solid. And there's so many different styles and effects. The music changes and stuff. So I am a big fan of Splice. I think that's a solid app.
There's one more app I want to reference. It's a web app, but it also works on mobile, and it's pretty phenomenal. There's a lot of times that you've got a cool image of people, but you don't want the background because you want to, do what Stuart says and, make it look fake. And this site, it's called remove.bg. which of course BG is for background. And whether you're on mobile or desktop, you simply upload a photo, and this thing does the best job it possibly can to remove the background and turn it into a PNG that you can download and then put the subjects of your photo in whatever environment you want. And it works pretty damn good.
It does work pretty good. I have been playing with this tool since it was launched. I saw it appear and started getting a lot of social media coverage. And then it got even more when somebody featured it on Product Hunt, and it's exploded. I think it's awesome. It does a really, really good job, super good job. And it's a really fast and simple way of creating images that have got a transparent background, which, even with the likes of the Photoshops and PaintShop Pros and everything else that are available, like Pixelers and Snapseeds and so on and so forth, isn't always the easiest job in the world. Remove BG just does it in a snap. It's awesome.
I actually have a question for you guys because you guys are using a lot of different apps. So now we can go and do remove BG and we can take the background away. Now we have this transparent ping of whatever we wanted to pull out from that image. What apps do you have an app that you guys use to be able to layer that ping on top of something else? Because normally I have to go into Photoshop on my computer to do that. Is there an app that you guys have found that makes it easy to layer images on top of each other and on one image on your phone?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on your phone, you can use Canva. And there's nothing wrong with using Canva to put a background image down and then put your transparent image over the top. You can use Pixelor. That will do the same thing. So there's a whole bunch of different apps. In fact, you can grab hold of the mobile version of Photoshop. Why not? Just use that.
Very nice. Well, I love Photoshop. I don't mind popping it up on my computer. Normally I have it with me, but it would just be handy in some cases to take the Bad Boys of Tech logo and then pop it on top of whatever we're sharing, and we're sharing it out on the socials, right? So
Yeah, exactly. And please, everybody type this in really carefully. It's remove.bg, not to be confused with remove.bc, which automatically takes baby cauliflowers out of all of your photos.
Oh, don't do that. Oh, leave the baby cauliflowers. We like apps, but we also like gadgets. We're gadget freaks, and that's what we're going to talk about in our next segment.
Yeah, so the first gadget I've been playing with, I went to the launch of the Sirin Labs pop-up store in Mayfair in London. And Sirin Labs have launched a thing called Finney, Finney. Finney is the first blockchain phone. What you get when you get a Finney is you get a really nice, Android phone. I like the design. It's not that much bigger than, say, a Google Pixel 3. Certainly not bigger than your average Samsung. But it's got a really interesting feature. Behind the phone, it looks like just a normal back, like you'd see on any other Android smartphone. But at the top, if you slide it up, you get an extra display that pops up over the top of the phone. And that display allows you to control the cold storage wallet. The cold storage wallet lets you put all of your crypto assets on the phone completely securely. And then there are apps within the phone that allow you to pay in local currency. And you pay in local currency, but it can take the money out of your crypto assets. You can transfer from one token to another. You can transfer into and out of the SRN token, which is Sirin Labs' own token. You can basically do almost anything with this phone, as far as cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology is concerned. You can also not just install Android apps on here, but you can install dApps on here as well. So they put a bunch on there for you automatically, things like secure messaging and secure email. There's all sorts of amazing dApps out there, and you can install those and use those as well. So I'm still playing with it. I'm still, getting myself around this new phone and checking it out. It's pretty fast. It's got a great screen. I haven't really tested, just the standard Android features like, how good the speakers are and all that kind of stuff yet. I'm getting to that. But just having these cryptocurrency wallet, cold storage features with that extra little display makes it incredibly unique and a nice little touch. They are selling this for around $1,000 or so, but there is an education center built into the phone. They want to help to make cryptocurrencies mainstream, and every single thing that you do as a user to go and learn something about cryptocurrency by using the education center, you'll get some money back as long as you answer the questions properly. So if they can see you're learning, you'll get money back. Eventually, they've said that they even want to be able to give you so much money back that it pays for the phone, so that you can get it for free. Whether that transpires or not, I'm not sure.
Are you getting dollars back or euros? Or are you getting crypto?
You're getting crypto. I think they pay you back in SRN tokens, which of course you can transfer to ETH or Bitcoin or whatever. And of course you can do transfers from cryptocurrencies to fiat using this phone. It's all built in. It's really remarkable. I'm still getting used to it. I'm still figuring all of that stuff out. What I will do is once I've figured it out, I'll write a full review, and that will go up on Grit Daily, Grit Daily, gritdaily.com. We'll stick a review up there. We'll reference this show from there, so you can come back and listen again as well.
I have a question around that, though. So, just the other day, I had to cash a check, and I had $5,000 in fiat money. I had to go deposit in the bank, and I was kind of going, man, I could get robbed. Now, like $5,000, that's like a little over. That's like a 1.25 Bitcoin, right? Like the odd, like you're walking around with $1,000 phone, and now with the blockchain and having a cold storage wallet on there, you could be walking around with 10, 20, 50, $100,000, $1 million on your device. Like how secure do you feel with that? Like thinking about that, loading all your crypto, putting all your eggs in one basket.
That's the danger of any cold storage system. But as with any other cold storage system, the makers claim it is incredibly secure, as with every cold storage. I mean, if you've got any of the cold storage devices, you're carrying around potentially millions of fiat if you were lucky enough to get into the Bitcoin game nice and early. That's the same thing that you would say of any system, right?
But I don't walk around with cold storage. It's like in a vault in a bank, right? I'm not going to walk around.
No, absolutely. But it's all there.
Is it easy to back up? That's a question. Then is like, if you lost your phone, do you have like the 12 words so you can actually go back in and gain all your assets back if somebody steals your phone?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. You've got on this one, you've got 24 words. Okay. 24 word backup for your wallet, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, you can absolutely back this up and get all of that back for sure.
All right, from blockchain phones to robot dogs. Yes, being a total techie dweeby nerd, I like to be the first to get the new tech. I was in on the first line of the Oculus Rift VR units, and I do a lot of traveling, like Mr. Travis Wright and Mr. Stuart Rogers. And because of that, as much as I love animals, I can't have a dog. It just wouldn't be fair to the dog. I'd be gone too much. And being a single guy here in my apartment, I'm like, well, apparently there's this new robot dog, the latest iteration of the Sony Aibo that came out in December, and I pre-ordered one. I received it. His name is Skippy, and it is a fascinating little toy, but I'm not sure it lives up to the potential of what I hoped it would be. Have you guys looked at the videos of the Aibo?
I've seen you play with it. It's cute. How often do you use it?
So not very often right now. And actually here's why. It does a lot of, it's got tricks built into it, and it's got the eyes that are digital that are very expressive. It's an incredibly cute little toy. And you do end up talking to it like it's a real dog. I'm like, oh, who's a good boy? Come here, sit down. Good boy. No, you end up talking to it like it's this real thing. But it's supposed to learn and grow like a puppy would learn. And, as it grows to a full size, adult dog, it's supposed to learn your voice and your face. It's supposed to recognize up to 100 faces. And I was hoping it would navigate my home, my apartment, a little bit better. But what it actually ends up doing is kind of staying in the same area, walking in circles and going to sleep. When you've got a dog, you want to you're not always going to be playing with it, but you want it to be able to have the space to learn the space and explore. And it just doesn't explore nearly as much. Like my I don't have a Roomba. It's a knockoff called a D-Bot, my robot vacuum cleaner. It explores my place better than the Aibo does. And it cleans up stuff.
Yeah, I think the problem here is, Joel, that you ordered the Sony Aibo Stuart edition, because I also just walk around in the corner of a room, curl up and go to sleep.
Digital nomad.
Yeah, very excited.
I mean, Sony Aibo, I've had a long illustrious history with Sony Aibo. Of course, this is the latest version of Sony Aibo. They had several iterations of this robot dog. And then they canned it, and they canned it just before, if I remember rightly, you had the PlayStation 4 come out. And I always felt that, the real thing that Sony should be doing here is actually having the different divisions of their company talking to each other. I mean, what a concept that would be. The Aibo shouldn't just have an app that allows you to do various things with it on a smartphone, but the Aibo should have an app on the PS4. If there's I can't remember, is it like 40 million PS4s out there? Why wouldn't you link that with the Aibo and have an app on the PS4 so that with the PS4 and the Aibo, you can actually have games where the Aibo is interacting with the PlayStation 4 and what's on screen, and you're able to control it with DualShock and all sorts of other stuff like that. I mean, it seems to me like they've missed a massive trick here.
There's some really clever things that it does. The toys that it uses are pink. So there's a ball, there's a bone, there's its home base, which it'll find its way back to its base when the battery is low. Most of the time it works. But if you leave it on all the time, when it hears sound, it'll wake up. So you can't really leave it on at night, because if you start snoring at night or something and it decides it hears something, all of a sudden you'll hear, and, so I have to actually turn it off at night. If only you could power down your real animals at night so they don't bark and wake you up.
It's a really good thing that the Osei personal massager is blue and not pink. That's all I'm saying.
And we've come full circle. And speaking of the vibrating massager, Travis, you've got something that's vibrating as well that you were super excited about.
It's interesting. So I was in LA, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I ran it. It was a Burning Man event, and there was this dude there. He's a doctor, and he has this bed that has speakers built into it, and he has it was just really cool, this thing. It's called a bioharmonic technology. It's the Vibe 3.1, and what it is, it's a bed that has all these speakers built into it, and it has an amp connected, and then you connect your tablet with all these various different songs and waves and vibrations, sort of like, solfeggio frequencies are located in there. You have, theta waves, beta, alpha waves, delta waves, gamma waves. And so you're able to lay on this bed and meditate, and it's unbelievable. And like when bass kicks in, the songs you can play, I added Spotify to the tablet and some of my own favorite music that I really like, some HemiSync stuff, which is some binaural beats, which music is playing on both sides of the ears. But what's so wild is when this music classical music is unbelievable. So basically you're laying on this bed on top of all these different subwoofers and speakers and listening to the music in your ears and feeling it on the bed. You're basically getting yourself a sound, massage, and it is unbelievable. And that's by Bioharmonic Technologies, and it's crazy.
How much are they, Travis?
I think the full-on editions are going, depending on what, there's like a lower level one and there's the higher level one, and he's creating some brand new ones, and I think they're anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000, depending on which model you get. But I tell you what, it's just like getting a massage. I got up after listening to some music and feeling the music. I was just like, oh my God, that is unbelievable. It's about the price of a Bitcoin.
So you can have a vibrating massage table or a dog that walks in circles.
Or a vibrating dildo that's robotic.
And just throwing it out there, because I have mentioned before the whole technology for the sake of it, as opposed to solving any real problems. But why is $3,000 better than going and getting a really good $60 massage?
Well, you know what? Because it's in my house and it's amazing. And I love the fact that, especially when you're throwing in some of the spiritual music and some of the, solfeggio frequencies and various different tones, that you're vibrating every cell in your body. And there's some really cool cleansing to that. And there's some other science behind that. All I know is whenever I laid on it for like 5 to 10 minutes in LA, I was like, oh yes, I have to have one of these. This is amazing. And another thing that's really cool about it is that once I put it up, both of my kids last night, it arrived yesterday, both of my kids, like, they hung out here all night listening to their favorite music, jamming out and laying on, like, it's cool. I can tell my kids are going to hang out more downstairs here with me while I'm working on stuff. And it feels amazing. Once you feel it, then you know.
I'm gonna go along with Stuart for a moment, because I'd like to give you crap, but I can get a massage in my home too. In fact, I use a service called Zeal, and It's an app. And I click on it and say, I want a massage. I want it a male or a female. I want this kind of massage. I want it this date, this time. And I click swipe. And because I subscribed to their service, it's a 1-year service. They actually sent me a massage table that's like a $250 or $300 massage table that I have here in my home. So I don't have to leave, and I put on music, but I don't feel the vibrations.
You don't sleep on a wall of sound.
No, but true. If you want all this for free, if you just lay down for long enough anywhere in Los Angeles, eventually you'll get an earthquake and you get a massage now.
One last piece of tech that I want to bring to you guys here before we wrap up, and I discovered this at CES. There was a lot of health and fitness technology there, and everybody's now, got a band that you put on your wrist that tracks your sleep patterns and how many calories you're burning, your stress levels, and so on. But there was one in particular that stood out from the rest by a company called HealBe, HealBe.com. And the smart band is called the Go B2. It's the number 2. And this band does all of of those things, but it does one more thing that blew me away. It tracks your caloric intake without inputting anything that you are eating into the device. You eat it and it tracks it with 90% accuracy. Don't ask me how to explain how it works. I just know that they claim it does.
And it's called GoBe?
GoBe2, G-O-B-E.
GoBe2. That's amazing. So after you've eaten your starter and then you've eaten your main course, you'll be eating a Gobi Desert.
Oh my gosh, that may be the worst joke that I've ever heard, not just on this show.
One thing that looks cool about it is though it actually tracks how much water is in your system, like and how dehydrated you are. That's kind of handy. The thing is really big and bulky though, and it's kind of ugly.
It's not the prettiest thing, but basically you eat or drink something, and then through enzymes break down the food, and the duration of the digestion process is going to be dependent upon what you eat and how fast your metabolism is. So the glucose rises, cells absorb it, and then the GoBe2 uses this thing called a bioimpedance sensor, and it determines the movement of the glucose through your system and can estimate caloric burn. And so the reason they know this works is because they've tested it and they said, all right, these people are going to wear it. They're going to eat this many calories, and then we're going to see what the GoBe2 says. And again, they said 90% accuracy on this thing. So I'm going to be trying it and letting you guys know if it actually does work.
I'm actually intrigued by that. Back in the day, I was much bigger than I am now. I went ahead and I embarked on the slow carb diet that was in Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Body book. I lost, what's better, pounds or kilos for you guys? Let's do pounds. I lost 92 pounds of fat in 9 months. And then I embarked on a program to build as much muscle as possible in as short a time as possible. And in doing that, it was really important for me to know what my activity levels were through the day. So I was using Fitbit for that because if I walked 7 miles, I needed to eat a lot more than if I only walked like 1 or 2 miles that day, because I needed to overeat in order to have that nutrition go to my muscles, right, and help build them up. And this would be the next part of that puzzle, right? I could use a Fitbit for one thing if I liked to work out my expenditure, and use this to work out what I'm putting in and make sure that I'm always hitting the 1,800 calories more than I need barrier every single day.
Well, there you guys have it. The very first episode of the Bad Boys of Tech. What'd you think? Let us know. Write us via badboysoftech@gmail.com or go to the website, badboysoftech.com. Click the Contact Us link. And please, this is a new show. We have no reviews. We have no downloads. Well, your download, right? We're brand new. And so we need your review. Please go to wherever you're listening to this podcast and submit a review. Let us know what you think, unless it's going to be a bad review, in which case, forget that you ever heard the show. We'll catch you all next time.
The Bad Boys of Tech.